All right, so here's our Porter Cable 7529 variable speed router that was sold in all the Lowe's stores starting maybe, I don't know, 13 years ago up until maybe, actually, a lot longer ago. Anyway, you probably bought this at Lowe's. That's my point. And you probably already took it to the thrift store or the your local pawn shop 10 years ago because you got sick of the thing malfunctioning. The variable speed was malfunctioning on it. And like me, I figured, well, if the variable speed is malfunctioning, then it's got to be this thing, the variable speed control, right? That's what's malfunctioning. So I took it to my Porter Cable place under warranty, and they replaced that. Didn't fix the problem. So I got a hold of Porter Cable, and I said, look, I've done electronics repairs. I can do this. Send me a new one. And they sent me another new one, and I replaced it. Wasn't the problem. It's not the problem. That's a fine little circuitry there. It works perfectly okay. And it's not this god-awful contraption of a cam switch that we all love and hate because it's just ridiculous. You like the plunger? Okay. It's not that. That works fine. That's a safety thing to keep us all from, cutting our parts off. The problem is this switch here, and I'll explain why. But to get in here, all you gotta do, you take the lid off. I call it a lid. I don't know if it's a lid. Good time to clean out that filter. It's going to be full of sawdust and stuff, right? Remove these clip leads from the switch, from the main switch up there. You might be able to flip that over. I just got used to unclipping them because I've been in this thing 11 times. All right, and then you got to take this part off here, back up, that has the wire coming in. There's just one little screw, Torx 20 or something like that. But the weird thing is this little bugger right here. This little thing there, that devil. All right, let me focus. It's got to get underneath this thing. So it's really weird. You're going to want to break it off, but if you kind of slide it this way while you're lifting up, okay, hopefully you can see that, it'll come off. It'll come undone. Don't break it. If you do, it's no big deal, but you don't have to break that like I wanted to the first time. Okay, back to the problem. Can you see that little piece of plastic right there? Where's my pencil? This little piece of plastic, right? Can you see the gap there? It's probably, I don't know, 1 or 2 millimeters. Okay, well, this switch sits against that casting, right? And let me show you how this works. When you engage the handle switch, I'm sorry if you're getting seasick from my camera operation, holding my phone and trying to do this, apologize. You see that? How that click, 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 click. There's 2 switches in there, 2 micro switches that the cam is pushing. And if you listen to the click, if I can shut up for a second, you hear the 2 clicks? Click, 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 click. Right? Well, you see how this is at an angle? Look how the back switch is pushed in further than the front switch. Well, that's what was happening. Because if you take that like 1 or 2 millimeter gap there and pretend it's over here where it is in your factory router, from the factory, like it would only go that far. You hear that click, click? The back one's clicking, the front one's not. There, it is. The front one's clicking now. But that was the problem. Only one was clicking. So I don't know this circuitry, but both of those have to be engaged or clicking in order for the variable speed to work properly. So if you weren't cranking that thing down like a mother, or if you were doing this deal where you set it and locked it, you know how you do, you got to like remember how to do that thing, where you lock it in place, it wouldn't push as far as when you watch this, boom, look at that, right? So most of the time when these variable speeds are screwing up, it's when we're engaging the stay or the lock, whatever that is, the on lock, and then you'd hit it and it would go in further. So all it took was for me to put a little hunk of plastic in there and push this thing forward where it's supposed to go. I don't know if it's a poor design or bad specs from the switch company from this. Maybe they thought it was going to be wider or what, but that's the only problem. Everything else works. This is a great little router, and it's worked for the last 10 years for me after I just put that hunk of plastic in there. And you can decide what you want to do. You can do 2-part epoxy and get fancy with it, or, you know, whatever. But I just put a hunk of plastic in there. And then these engage fully. And you're rocking and rolling. Rocking and rolling in the free world. So, that's it. Port cable 7529. If you've already thrown yours away or sent it to the local pawn shop and moved on to something else, good for you, because it saved you a buttload of frustration. But if you still have yours and it's sitting on a shelf somewhere, or if you find this in a local Goodwill, go ahead and pick it up and do that repair, and you got yourself a brand new router. Works great. It's been serving me wonderfully. It's made miles of trim. That's it. Say goodbye to Plunger.